Okay guys, since apparently people are saying the COBRA mortar bomb strategy is not very strong and is easily beatable, I'm going to give the strategy another go and see if any BFB Coliseum players can beat me, despite some commenters saying I use it to only half of its fullest potential. Cause apparently it's normal to have 1000 eco and 20 bloon adjusted COBRAs by round 20. I'll believe it when I see it. So far I've heard all talk and no play, so it would be nice for those of you to send some video evidence or at least explain what I'm doing that is wrong. Actually don't, cause not long after all these game recordings I was finally shown the so-called correct way to execute the strategy, which was to continue building eco past round 13 instead of building more wired funds COBRAs. Makes sense, I suppose. Everyone knows COBRA eco is inefficient and gets worse as the game goes on, but I figured the point of this strategy was to fuck the opponent up at round 20 at the latest. So you're gonna have to live with the inefficient execution of the strategy for this video one last time. But hey, if it so happens that I beat players easily with the strategy without even using it to its fullest potential, is that not a testament to the strength of the bomb mortar in COBRA? Obviously not everyone is going to execute the loadout in the same fashion, so if you write off this strategy because you beat someone using it in one game, take a moment to think if it was because of the player and perhaps not the strategy itself. Or perhaps it was because of the map. One thing I don't believe I mentioned yet is that eco strategies involving ice and mortar seem to shit on COBRAs on really long maps like Battle River or Pumpkin Patch. But long maps aside, it seems pretty damn strong when mastered to perfection in my eyes, yet look how easily these guys are going down at half strength. Okay, maybe I shouldn't count that first game cause let's face it, I probably could have went random towers and beat that guy. But now we got another REC clan member and look what we have here, a COBRA versus COBRA game, except he's using boomerang. Shit, I actually haven't faced a COBRA user while going COBRAs myself since the days where the strategy didn't even exist, so not sure what the best course of action is, other than the obvious decision to play more defensive. Though that's definitely going to be a challenge because of the dreaded AI path, I'm going to need 2 signal flare mortars at minimum to get rid of all combo balloons, while Fusion over there just needs to get a village and he is set. Anyways, I guess now is a good time to address an issue that people seem to have regarding bigger Bloons YouTubers like me making videos of certain strategies, which leads to a higher usage of such strategies in arenas, which I suppose people do not like me doing because it is making high arenas flooded with quote-unquote cancer COBRA players. And I'm just gonna say this. As a relatively large Bloons channel, I shouldn't and won't be restricted from making videos showcasing certain strategies simply because some chunk of the community considers it anti-fun. Remember, COBRAs being anti-fun is an opinion, not a fact, and I personally think COBRAs can be interesting to play around with and against, especially if it's a COBRA versus COBRA match. Now if the problem is balance, then that's on Ninja Kiwi and not me. If you want people to stop using OP strategies, then go to the root of the problem and tell Ninja Kiwi to fix the game and how. I'm just here to make Bloons content every few days, man, and I'm not feeling the desire to play Dart and farm either, so what else can I do other than to try out a recently founded COBRA strategy? Again, I could explore other modding options and whatnot, but no time for that right now. I'll explain more on why later. Anyways, I'm having a lot of trouble defending this adjustment, so I'm really going to have to play this one quite safe. I'm worried that this balloon impact along with a second cluster isn't gonna be enough, but it turns out that was the last thing I needed to worry about. Well, it was a little embarrassing. I wasn't expecting that to happen, but I did feel a little uneasy as my mortars weren't shooting in sync, and that's what cost me in the end. If you're going to ask why I just stood there like a statue and randomly used a boost instead of mortaring my micro real quick, Let me just say that your reaction time drastically takes a hit when you're not expecting something, cause if you look back slowly then you'll see I was busy placing down a bomb tower when the ceramic was already halfway through the track. Here is a relevant analogy that only League players will understand. If you're walking past an unworded brush with a thresh standing inside of it, there's no way you're going to dodge his hook, because frankly you aren't expecting anyone to be inside it. On the other hand, if the brush was warded then you'll definitely have the reaction time to flash or dodge the hook, because you can see it coming from a mile away. That's why round 18 or 20 rushes aren't going to do shit to me, cause I'm always hovering my finger over the sell button whenever those rounds start to prepare for those common rushes. Anyways, I'm glad Fusion wants a rematch because it always feels like shit when you fuck up and don't get a chance for redemption. Unfortunately I was hoping he would go Cobra or at least farms on this map because there's no way he's going to survive with eco on a map as short as this. Notice how much he needs to spend on balloon popping power, and that leaves him with no room to be able to afford Moab popping power, so this BFB is going to be the end of him. Redemption obtained, and thus we shall continue our quest to find someone in these arenas that is OP enough to beat this COBRA strategy without using it themselves. And geez, another REC member, how many times have I played one of those guys this week? It's almost as if they have their grind week going on or something. But anyways, while another one of these COBRA vs COBRA's games is going on in background, I guess there's a bit of time to squeeze in the channel update. So the plan is still for me to upload once every 3 days despite my semester ending in a few days, but in fact it was pretty hard keeping up that pace throughout this tough exam period where I was the victim of unlucky scheduling, cause I got 3 exams coming up all within a 24-hour time span. Just great, isn't it? That's why you see another COBRA video, cause I ain't got time to mess around with other things for now. So yeah, that's it for the brief channel update. Now we watch as some of the worst gameplay in the world ensues. Like what the hell is this? A giant boosted zebra rush, but did he not learn from the previous rush that nothing was going to happen, except for a couple lives lost on my end because I didn't use a boost? And then this happens. All out regrow zebras plus rainbows this time. I really want to know what this guy is smoking. It's possible he just might be grinding for quick wins, but come on, that's about as low as a percentage shot at winning that you can get. At least just wait a couple more rounds to send Moabs, or just surrender at the start if you're gonna do that. So I'm guessing this guy is also an REC member based on his clan symbol. I'm not sure which other clans have that sun god logo with a sure icon as the background. And oh yes, another COBRA vs COBRA, but this time it looks like it's going to be a mirror loadout, cause those other 2 matches were versus boomerangs and villages. So now it all comes down to who can execute the strategy better. A test to see if this guy is truly a COBRA master or if he just picked the strategy up because it was popular. Right off the bat, he is struggling a bit, losing a lot of lives in that early game due to the subpar cannon positioning before you get a cluster bomb. Nothing interesting happens in the mid-game, so allow me to fast forward all the way to the adjustment rounds. I'm well aware of how dangerous they can be, so I won't be taking any chances. Get the balloon impact up as quick as possible before I make any fool of myself. And possibly a second mortar. But did I even need it? Cause on his side he just straight up died. Didn't see what killed him on my screen, but it could very possibly be a comma ceramic that snuck through his mortar. Anyways, one more game, and what do you know? Another REC clan member. That's 4 in a row, and to be honest it's probably going to be the best that I can find in these arenas, seeing as they're likely to play the most, and so I'll run into these guys often. Not COBRA vs COBRA this time, but another Darton farm which is notorious for being awful versus COBRAs, so I think this game should be over pretty quickly unless I fuck up real bad. But so far everything is going a-okay. 660 eco, multiple cobras, and a rush that forced a boost out of him. Here comes the first sign of danger from me, a regro-led rush. The plan was just to use a boost here considering how huge the rush was, but no, I'm going to need another cannon as well as a bit of micro-action to ensure all these things get destroyed. Well, that rush probably costed well over $5,000, so that pretty much seals the deal for this match. After the game I did manage to snipe a couple of slightly butthurt comments from him saying that if he lasted one more round I would have been dead. Sorry, but if someone could point out exactly how he could beat me right now after selling his farms to build more defense, that would be great. Anyways, that is all for today. Feel free to drop a like if you enjoyed, or the opposite if you're mad that I keep making COBRA videos, though be warned because that will probably cause me to make more. I mean, if you're going to ask me why I made 3 videos on COBRAs, then you better ask me or other YouTubers why they've made hundreds on Dart and Farm as well. Have an offensive day.